Alright, the last video of the night. Yeah, I know. I'll do the finalist video tomorrow. I started late tonight, so I'm doing 3 videos today. This should be a popular topic. So, it was asked in the chat last night to make this video. And Yvonne had written it down, but she lost track of it. At one point last night, there were 506 people in the chat room, all trying to ask questions. It was virtually impossible for her to get through them, and I know how she feels. That's why I had her doing it, because I couldn't keep up any other time that I'd done a live stream. And now there was an official Q&A, I'm like, okay, this is going to be worse, so I'll have to need somebody to moderate and send me questions. Not only that, but then when it's posted to my channel, it's not just me reading the screen and going, yeah, I think he's good. No, I don't think he's good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so by her reading the question and me answering it, it makes the video watchable later. So we're going to be doing those once a week. For anybody who's wondering, we're going to be doing those once a week. Last night was a trial run. It was a huge success. We plan to do it once a week. We will come up with exactly what day, and then we'll alternate. Part of what, and she brought this up, is that not everybody has the same day off. Not everybody has the same availability to be online watching a stream. So I should alter which days. But over the next few weeks, you guys are going to notice a very set schedule of when I do things. And then in the regular season, there's going to be a very set schedule of when certain videos are going to be posted. And it's going to make it so that I want this to feel like a channel. Not just YouTube, a channel. So I'm going to do my best to make that happen. Now, on to last night's suggestion. Top 10 GMs in the league. So, in order to come up with a top 10, I first had to come up with ones that I felt were capable of in my eyes, being top 10 GMs. So you got Bob Murray in Anaheim, Stan Bowman in Chicago, Jarmo Kekalainen in Columbus, Jim Nill in Dallas, Peter Chiarelli in Edmonton, Chuck Fletcher in Minnesota, David Poile in Nashville, Jeff Gorton in New York for the Rangers, Pierre Dorion for Ottawa, Jim Rutherford for Pittsburgh, Doug Armstrong for St. Louis, Doug Wilson for San Jose, Steve Yzerman for Tampa, Lou Lamoriello for Toronto. I am fully aware people are not going to be happy with this. This list is going to change from the last time I did a video like this because of what's happened in the offseason and teams moving up. You'll notice Washington, no mention of Washington on this board. And I don't really blame the GM, but there's certain things that could have been done differently, and maybe one of these GMs would have done it differently, and Washington wouldn't be in the bind they're in right now. And not having Ken Holland on this list feels weird, but I can't justify putting Ken Holland on the list either. So the first thing I have to do if I'm going to get down to a top 10 is say, okay, well, who do I think qualifies for being in that top 10, and who doesn't? Now, I'm going to take Jim Nill out first because, yeah, he added Bishop, he added Mathot. There's a lot of additions to like, and the team looks like it should be better. They were supposed to be a playoff team last year, too. Bishop's got health issues. I don't know that I trust Mathot as a top 2 in Dallas. I have too many question marks to say, yeah, Jim Nill belongs in this list, because that would be biased on my part. So there's officially no Don Sweeney, no Jim Nill, and no Jim Benning. But Benning isn't that far off this list, because there are a lot of GMs in the league that I think make more questionable moves. So who else do I pull off the list? Well, based on the fact that the team has remained pretty stagnant over the last few years, and for whatever reason that is, I'm not going to have Doug Wilson on the list. Doug Wilson's a very good GM. I'm not saying San Jose should fire him, because they shouldn't. He wouldn't be on the top 14 list if he wasn't a good GM. So who does that leave? Well, Anaheim, Chicago, Columbus, Edmonton, Minnesota, Nashville, Rangers, Ottawa, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Tampa, and Toronto. And it's tough. I'm going to take out Pierre Dorion for Ottawa. I know Ottawa went to the conference final and they did very well for themselves in the postseason, but I still think if I was going to name a GM and say, all right, Shannon, you can have any GM in the league for your GM, who do you name? I don't know that Dorion's going to be one of the top picks for me, personally. So for me, he gets pulled out. I want to take Armstrong out, but the team got better after Shattenkirk. And he brought back Sobotka. And by bringing in Mike Yeo, he helped salvage the season of Jake Allen. Smart move. Smart moves all around for St. Louis. So I can't rule him out. Chicago's always a contender. Anaheim manages to make the right moves and keeps their defense intact. So does Minnesota. They keep their team intact coming through expansion. Brilliant. Yzerman, Capmaster, Rutherford, come on. So, it is with great regret that Jeff Gorton is number 11 on the list for the New York Rangers. So there you go. Jeff Gorton, now we're down to 10. So who comes in at 10? For me, Doug Armstrong of St. Louis. He would not have been top 20 at the deadline. I thought he was insane for trading Shattenkirk. It turned out to be a very smart move. As I said, he made a coaching move at the right time, and it turns out it looks brilliant. So he gets in the top 10. 9 for me. I gotta spell it right before I say it. Jarmo Kekalainen in Columbus. Very good GM. I don't know. I know that depending on the magazine, they might be rated as high as first. They may be rated as low as third. I've got them second in the division. I don't know. Does Tortorella's expiration date arrive this season? Do we all look foolish? We could. So we're down to 8. This is where it gets really tough. Really, really, really tough. Because this is who's the best GM in the league right now. I have to bump Steve Yzerman down to 8th. Because, yes, Tampa should finish first. They're my Stanley Cup pick. And he's a wizard with the cap. But in the offseason, and I'm not convinced Vasilevsky is going to be as good as Bishop was a couple seasons ago. I'm just not convinced. So we'll see. We'll see. And again, I'm not trying to insult Tampa fans or Tampa's GM at all. This is just a really tough list. Number 7, I'll put Peter Chiarelli. He's made some very smart moves. He's got Edmonton in a position where they're a contender for a Stanley Cup. I don't know that I look at him right now and say he's the most brilliant GM. He's very good. He's number 7 on the list. He's very, very good. Come on. Right. There you go. Number 6. Oh, yeah, I know. Let me, no. Don't type in the comment section until I've got it on there. Lou Lamoriello's done a very good job with the rebuild in Toronto. He was smart to have all the rookies in there and demote the guys to the minors who were veterans that you could have had stick around on the team and justified and said, we're protecting our rookies. He was smart and made the right moves. Drafting Austin Matthews was a no-brainer. And it was a big part of what happened. He's made some very smart moves. He's a very good GM. To me, these 5 guys are above him. Signing Eric Stahl was brilliant. Getting rid of Alex Tuck and making the moves he had to keep their entire team intact makes Chuck Fletcher the number 5 GM on my list. Minnesota's in good hands right now because of Fletcher. Very, very smart GM. Number 4, Stan Bowman. Trading out Panarin, I know why he did it. I get why he did it. It's still a head-scratcher. Bringing back a lot of ex-Chicago Blackhawks. Looks smart. but I don't know. I think he slipped below these three guys, in my eyes. Number 3, David Poyle. Signing Nick Bonino was smart. I think they gave him too much money in term, but it was a smart move. They've put together a very good roster. PK Subban's fantastic. I do wonder if Pekka Rinne at 35 can do it again. We'll see. But for me, Poyle's number 3. Bob Murray has done a masterful job in keeping Anaheim in the conversation. Yes, they could be another Washington Capitals type team. They could be a team you look at years down the road and say, well, after, you know, this core could never win it. I know the Ducks won it in 2007, but it was a little different than it is now. That was Niedermayer. That was Pronger. That was some really fantastic play up and down the lineup. And this has been something different. This was supposed to be Kessler's team that was supposed to win it all, and that's why he wanted to go to Anaheim, and that was the only team he was willing to go to. They haven't done it yet. So number 1, in the most unsurprising result of all, Pittsburgh Penguins, Jim Rutherford. They won 2 Stanley Cups. They're in a position where they're being considered as at least favorites for another one, for 3 in a row. And for that reason, I think they have the best GM in the game. He always seems to know who to pick up. He seems to know who to drop. And it's rare that something comes back to haunt the Penguins. But it is common for the Penguins to grab something and end up haunting other teams with it. Hornquist to Nashville being the most recent example. And I think there's going to be more. So let me know what you guys think. Who's your favorite GM? Like, in terms of who you think the best GM is in the league. This is not about favorites. This is about who I think the best GMs in the league are right now. Right now in the NHL. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And a reminder with the chats. When chat videos go up, leave your questions on the video that's posted after. We'll go through them. There's no preference given to paid posts. So when somebody boosts their post. But if people boost their post and we ignore it, it makes us look really bad. So it's kind of a catch-22. So, yeah, if somebody gives a few bucks and their question's up at the top in green or blue or whatever color, it will likely get asked earlier than other ones. It doesn't mean the other ones are being ignored. It just means when 100 million questions are coming through at once, and that one's at the top, that one's the one you see. That's the whole idea behind the paid posts. It's a YouTube thing. I've never really promoted it. It's there. People want to do it. Awesome. I greatly appreciate it. Last night's stream was kind of a game changer for me. That's why I'm talking about doing it every week. And I'm talking about having a schedule for all my videos. So again, top 10 GMs. Let me know your picks. I don't claim to be some genius, brilliant guy who has all the answers. I'm just a fan like you guys, and I just enjoy sharing my thoughts with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.